Hi guys! Do you find yourself comparing yourself to other people all the time? Is this you? Is this something that happens to you a lot? When somebody else is having an experience and you're watching it and you go, oh, well, that would never happen to me. That doesn't happen to me. I'm not as good. Or they have some skill that I wish I had, but I don't. Or people talk about what they have experienced during their meditations or during their internal energy journeys, and you go like, oh God, I can't even connect to my guide, never mind connect to some multi-dimensional energies. I have no idea how to do that. That constant comparison, this is actually very common. A lot of times we do this because we're trying to figure out ourselves in the world, but it's a very negative feeling. The response inside us is actually quite uncomfortable because we constantly feel like we're not as good as someone else, right? How many of you know that feeling? So comment yes underneath if this is something you have experienced. This state of here I am trying my best and it's not good enough because look at them. They are doing so amazingly and I'm not good. Or somebody says something and instead of feeling like, oh, I kind of experienced something like that too, so there's a similarity, instead you go into, well, that's not as deep as that person. So I might have experienced something similar, but it's not as deep. How many times have you felt that? Or somebody says something and you realize that they know something you don't, and you go into, well, see, they knowledgeable or educated, or they read something and remembered, and I read that same book and I don't remember anything, so obviously I'm not as good as them. That constant comparison. So that is something that is related to how we perceive ourselves. So you know what I'm talking about, right? That feeling of not good enough on the inside, and no matter how much you compare, somehow they will always be better and you somehow feel like you're always not. So that happens all the time. For the ones of you who don't know me, I am Eugenia Oganova. I am a soul strategist and a founder of Transcension Gate. What that means is I help you guys figure out your life's purpose and to live your life feeling worthy, feeling like you are enough, feeling like you are unique. And we design unique steps that lead you to your destiny. So, and before I forget, there is a free gift for you guys. There's a link, so click on that link. It's either under the video or it's to the side of the video. So find it and make sure you click on it so that you get your gift, okay? All right, so the comparison issue is related to us feeling not confident in who we are. So what would happen if we actually changed it, flipped it upside down into the experience of, let's say, instead of comparing, we're just noticing, but we're not comparing anymore. We're feeling good about ourselves. What would that feel like? That would feel awesome, right? It would feel like you're confident in who you are. You would feel like you're strong, you're secure in your own experience. And you actually could be then more curious about what other people are experiencing because you're not constantly stuck in this mental chatter of, oh, I'm not as good as them. I'm not as good as them. Instead of seeing somebody else's experience as something that puts you down, you can see it as something that lifts you up. It gives you a possibility of a challenge. Or, well, if they could do it, maybe I can too. Or how did they do it? Maybe they have a different set of skills that I have, but I still want to know what is it that they did in order to arrive at that experience or that result. In other words, if we're not in negative self-comparison all the time, we can actually learn by interacting with the universe. We're not blocking all the information. I've seen that happens a lot when someone's stuck in self-comparison all the time to other people. After a while, they don't want to know what other people are experiencing. They're starting to shut themselves off, like wall off from the world, because then it becomes too painful. It's too painful to know how well somebody else is doing. It's too painful to know that somebody else had achieved certain result or whatever, because that person constantly says, well, I can't do it. But in truth, we all can. but we're meant to do our own thing. That's the key to this. There is a unique brilliance, unique something about ourselves that if we step into that and explore that, we cannot fail. We are designed to do it. So that way, instead of constantly looking at someone else's path, we're actually living our own, and we're getting better at our own. Someone else's experiences are not our experiences. They are not necessarily meant to change anything in our perception of our value. So obviously, if we're talking about somebody like jumping higher than you can jump, okay, that's a physical skill maybe that they have that you don't have. But maybe they meant to jump and you're not. Maybe it is part of their soul contract to become, I don't know, the best jumper in the world, and it's not part of yours. Maybe you meant to be a light worker that works with pets or something. Why would you need to be jumping hard? So if you compare yourself to that person and then feel bad, that doesn't serve you, right? Or let's say it's the same field. Let's say it's something that you feel like you're really desiring. Let's say you're desiring to talk to your energy guides. And you're watching other people experiencing their energy guides and you're not. So you're saying, oh, I'm defective somehow because somehow they can and I can't. That constant comparison is not helping you experience your energy guide, right? All it does is blocking you from experiencing because you're creating the field of negative, of fear or self-judgment or whatever else. The solution here, though, is if instead you look at it and say, okay, if they are experiencing their energy guides, they are using certain unique skills, their unique brilliance of how to do it. Now, whatever their brilliance is not my brilliance. I'm glad and happy for them experiencing their energy guides, but now it's my turn. I want to experience my energy guides, which means I got to do it through my unique brilliance, through my way. So then your task becomes figuring out what is it. And the more we look into that uniqueness of who we are, the more we trust that we have it. Every single one of us is designed to do exactly what we have a natural drive for, what we have a passion for. If there's something in your heart that's calling you, if there's something that you feel like, oh, I just so want to have that, well, you have the tools for it. And if right now it's not working, it's simply because you have not figured out where the tools are or how to use them. But not because somebody else can and you can't. If you have that desire, it's pre-installed in you with the tools to achieve it. Our soul will never put us into a lifetime without giving us all the tools to achieve what we're meant to do within that lifetime. It's true that it could be a little bit challenging. It's true that we might have to face some things we don't always want to face. So yes, I'm not saying that it's always easy, but we always have the right tools. Always. That's a given. It's an absolute guarantee that whatever it is that you want to in your heart of hearts, not in your ego, not like, oh, I want to, I don't know, win $1 million. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something that you truly want to experience, something that you feel called to step in and serve through, to resonate your uniqueness through. That natural desire in your heart has been put there by this divine source, by your own soul, for a reason so that you can go towards it, and by doing so, clean up some karmic issues, learn something new along the way, and then arrive at some version of that experience. But you naturally will have all the tools for it to begin with. Okay. Let's see. What do we have for questions? Liza asks, how do I find my unique brilliance? All right. Unique brilliance is something that is special about you. It's unique combination of factors that you carry. And I'm not just talking about material stuff, like let's say the type of upbringing you had, who were your parents, the type of genetics that your body is in, that's also part of it. But unique brilliance is more soul-based. So that is more about your unique talents, your unique gifts. Everybody has something. We usually discount them because they are so easy for us. So If you completely have no idea what your unique brilliance is, think of what other people comment on that's positive about you. Do they tell you that, oh, you're so thoughtful, or you're so considerate, or you're so kind. I just feel so loved when I'm around you. Or, oh, your home is just such a safe place. It's just so beautiful and safe. I get here and I just relax. All those things, they are pointing you into what you do naturally, but probably don't even realize. But those are your natural skills. You know, the same thing like perception of energy. Some people are naturally kinesthetic, so they would feel this through their body, which means their unique brilliance is that they experience life more directly through their physical form. Other people might be more visual, like me. I'm clairvoyant from birth. So because of that, I see energy all the time. So that's part of my unique brilliance, that I'm able to see energy. But that might not be your brilliance, or it might be. And there are many different ways. Maybe you feel the resonance of different energies. Maybe you're empathic. Like you're able to tune in and feel what another person is feeling, or even an animal, feel what an animal is feeling. So all those things, those are all parts of our brilliance. So I also teach a course on that as well, when we deepen into figuring out what that is together. Okay, Mark asks, what if I think I'm better than others? All right, Mark, this is about comparison versus discernment. Okay, discernment is a good thing. Discernment is something we should have. Discernment is your ability to be able to differentiate what's what and give it different labels and positions and, you know, whatever that helps you organize the world so that you can look at life and know what's what. This is a healthy thing to do. If we don't use our own discernment, then we're just influenced by everything all the time. So discernment is a must-have component. Comparison, that is the same thing as discernment, but you know, there's a judgment in there. We're giving value to what we have discerned. So think of it like step one, you're looking at something, you're saying, okay, this person has this ability and I have that ability. And let's say if we're grading the ability, this person has ability at the level 5 and I have ability at the level 2. Okay, if we stop at that place, then that's all it is. We just discerned what is going on. We discerned that that person is a little more skillful than us, and then we still have to figure out, does it even matter to us? Is this something that applies to our life and what we're learning? If yes, maybe we can ask this person how they're doing it. How did they get to that level of their skill? If it doesn't apply, then maybe it's just us figuring out our own skill, and great, now we just know that we have some way to go. So that's discernment. But when we then do the second thing of saying, oh, they are at number 5 and I'm at number 2, so that means they're better than me. Or in case of Mark here, the other way around, let's say I'm at number 5 and they are number 2, so I'm better than them. That is a judgment. And that judgment is because there is a value attached to what we have discerned. So the solution is simply don't attach the value. It is very healthy to discern. It is very healthy to know who's where. Even this number system, like I said, I don't know, you might invent your own method, but it's not unhealthy. There's nothing wrong with it. People, I mean, somebody could be more educated than you. That's fine. So you're just aware, oh, they have a PhD, let's say, and I don't. No problem. But if you attach value to it, like somehow I'm not good enough because I don't have a PhD, that's when it becomes this judgment, which is, you know, what we're talking about with the negative comparing. Okay? So I hope I answered that one. So what I would like you guys to do now is comment below this video. What has been your experience with comparison? Do you notice yourself getting stuck in the negative comparison? Or are you able to notice it but then let it go? Like stick with the discernment essentially and not fall into the negative comparison. I would love to know what has been the recent situation, something that recently happened, you compared yourself to another person, maybe felt bad, but what did you do then? How did you get out of it? Did you sit in the feeling bad for a week and then it just fizzled away? Or did you actually do something right away that then resolved the feeling bad and got you back up to the more harmonious state? I would love to know that, so please comment below. I read all the comments so that I can see how you guys are doing. And don't forget to like this video, please, and your free gift. So click on the link that's somewhere next to this video and get your gift. Okay, bye-bye.